Nothing can stop me, cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, cause I'll find no matter what, yeah. Susceptible now, before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good night, cause I'll find no matter what. Susceptible now, before the moment flies.
Bobbity bobbity bop. This is yet another Kevin Samuels video. And as you can tell from the title, I would much rather not have to do this video. But I'm doing this video because unfortunately we have some um, ignorant, asshole, decrepit, depraved people out there who are just plain evil. Um, and I don't care what kind of justification you can have inside of your mind and inside of your heart to be glad that somebody has died. Uh, unless there are some exceptions. Don't get me wrong. um, if somebody messed with your children, touched them, hurt them any kind of way, I would be glad something happened to them if I didn't do it myself. If somebody messed with your mother, somebody, etc., etc., there are certain specific situations where you could be glad a person is dead. However, this person, Kevin Samuels, a juggernaut, a behemoth in the Black community, with his voice and his uh, whatever you want to call it, his ideology. That's just a word that I'm going to use to frame it. Um, his opinion. Okay, this man has not done any of those things that I've mentioned to anybody. Okay, I can say that for a fact. Now, facts. Um, this man has expressed an opinion. Okay, and when it comes to opinions, and then when it comes to beliefs, there tends to be a lot of people. There are two types of people in this world: the ones who will agree and the ones who will disagree. Okay. Now, if you can find it in your heart as justification that simply because you disagree with this man's opinion, that you are glad and excited that he's dead, okay? Simply because of his opinion, which is all he ever did was give it and lay it out with facts. And in my and I've watched his videos for the last several months. I haven't been a follower of his for since he began, but I have learned personally a lot from this man. And a lot of what he did was he hosted a show on YouTube. Okay. He had several guest callers, people like average people, you and me, females mostly in the past few years. All he ever did was they would call in, right? And he would assess them. He would ask them questions and he would hold a mirror up to them. Okay. And he would just tell it like it is with no sugar. Okay. And a lot of people got upset by that, by the truth. And you know, the truth really hurts. It does. But there's not that many. Matter of fact, there's no other Kevin Samuels out there. Okay. And there is not that many black men out there as a representation or who can speak for most black men out there. And I would venture to say, I will go out on a limb and I'm going to say that there is a lot of black men out there like myself who agreed with everything he had to say. Me personally, I agreed with about 90% of what of the some of the things he had to say or and some of the ideas that he expressed when it comes to dating and when it comes to black females. I agree with 90% of it. And there just aren't that many black male alpha voices out there. Okay, because one of the things when it comes to telling the truth, okay, it's easy to just tell people what you want to hear. Matter of fact, it's a great life if you just walk down that path, the path of least resistance. Tell everybody what they want to hear. Tell them good lies, like the song, and not have any confrontation whatsoever. But that's not how the world is. That's not how society is set up today. The black community has several problems. Okay. Being a black man is hard. Okay. I can't live like a Chinese or Asian or European or Arab person and not have to deal with these issues that come about within the black community, within the black dating atmosphere. Okay. Uh, there was a video he just did a couple days before he died where he received a lot of pushback. I mean, there was a lot of anger and vitriol towards his topic. And in a nutshell, basically, what he had to say was, if you are over the age of 35, okay, for a female who is over the age of 35 is basically a leftover. And to add to that, there was a lot of angry rhetoric out there in response to that. Okay. Um, Now to add to that, because there is truth in that, whether you like it or not. To add to that, what other cultures do you see where a woman gets married, has a few kids, her husband divorces her, and they're single mothers, single parent mothers out in the dating world? What other culture do you see? You don't see that in Japan. You don't see that in China. You don't see that in Russia. You don't see that in Afghanistan, Iraq, Israel, Palestine, Egypt. Show me where in the world where you see women over the age of 35 to 40 who have had been married already, who have had kids, who are out there dating like they're 20, 19, 15, 20, 19, 18. I'm sorry. You can't find it anywhere other than this Western United States black culture. Okay. It's not a good thing for the culture either. It's not. The black culture has the highest divorce rates among any other race. Okay. Now, the people who are glad that someone passed away, right? I believe the people who are glad that Kevin Samuels has passed away, I believe, are the very people he spoke about. All the baby mamas out there who have more than one baby daddy, who will get up in a nigga's face and fight a nigga. And the second that nigga hit him back, oh, I'm calling the police. Oh, I'm calling my cousin down the street, Ray Ray, Pookie. They gonna come and whoop your ass, nigga, because you hit me, even though I hit you first. The same woman who will go out with a man, knowing that she don't like him, knowing that she will never, not attracted to him, or she will never give up the goods and let that man spend $1,000 for dinner, maybe twice, maybe a few times. Okay. The same woman who thinks she's smarter than men because she got a degree. Excuse me. Thinks she's smarter than a man because she makes more money, has a degree. Okay. She gets in a relationship with a man and does not respect him, has no value whatsoever for a man, unless that man might have more income than her. But she's already has 2 or 3 kids. So what kind of value does she have? Um, it's a sad state of affairs. It's a very sad state of affairs where a black man can have millions and millions of subscribers just by speaking his opinion and have his detractors, a black man, have so many detractors that are excited and exuberant because of his passing. Think about that. a black man. Now, these are the same people who I wouldn't spend any energy on other than this video. The same people who I go out of my way to avoid when it comes to the dating world. Same people. There's even a man the other day. I seen a video about a man who said, quote, I am glad Kevin Samuels is dead. And I'm not gonna repeat his name or his channel. All you gotta do is type in a simple Google search and I'm sure it'll come right up. But this man, black man, said that he was glad that Kevin Samuels passed away. And his justification for that, which I don't find credible at all, I don't give it any weight, period, because there is no justification. But his justification was the fact that he believed because while Kevin Samuels was alive, he got on his case. And just because the man passed away doesn't mean I can't still get on his case. Um, that is absurd. That is the nastiest, thinkingest bullshit I ever heard. Because when you have a problem with someone and their opinion, okay, you take it up with that person while they're here, okay? When that person has passed away and you did not confront them while they were alive, as a real man would, okay? When that person passes away, they are no longer here to defend their particular position. So, what problem do you have with a person who cannot defend themselves, with a person who is not talking anymore, with a person who is not making podcasts anymore? What the fuck kind of problem, excuse my language, but what the fuck kind of problem can you have with somebody no longer making these videos who you cannot confront with your issues? It may be because you have issues internally that you have to deal with that can't nobody else solve but yourself. And I just pray for him. You know, um, I get so angry sometimes that, you know, uh, these particular type of people, it's one thing to disagree, okay? Um, in fact, I don't expect anybody to think the way I think, but when you take it to that next level and you literally dance on someone's grave, I feel like all them decrepit, low down, despicable people who I won't even call human beings ought to be rounded up and shoved into a lake of fire. It would be a better world without them. But apparently, according to the Bible, if you believe as I do in Christianity, that's going to happen anyway. So I don't have to do that. I don't have to worry about that. Um, there are a lot of people out there who have this idea of what Kevin Samuels was about, who never really took the time to watch any of his videos or to listen to what he had to say, right? They just go off of this knee jerk reaction uh, based on a viral clip or something viral. Well, he's a misogynist. Well, he hates women. He hates black women. They just go off of that instead of taking the time to actually listen to what the man has to say. Well, when he passed, I was I wanted to do something. I just didn't know what it was going to be. You know, every other video on YouTube was Kevin Samuels passed away. Let's call in and do this for his memory, and and I sat back and I observed everything, and excuse me, I observed a lot of content devoted to his passing and his memory. And you literally couldn't turn on YouTube without seeing something, and I didn't know if I wanted to do something, but I didn't know because everybody else, and I'm just the kind of person where I don't like to do what everybody else is doing. So I'm kind of like a rebel, you know, but I feel like something had to be said. I had strong opinions and um, strong thoughts. And I saw a video this morning, and it made me. It's the reason why I'm pretty much making this video today. It's not even the guy, the black gentleman that I told you about, who was glad Kevin Samuels is dead. Not even him. Not even his video. Just give me a second. Let me roll it for you, and I'm going to deconstruct what they're talking about in this video, because the big misconception out there is that Kevin Samuels is basically about hate, and he was not. He wasn't. When you're raised as a child, your parents don't tell you everything you want to hear and let you do anything you want to do. And it's not out of hate, it's out of love, actually. And with girls, you can be kind of easy, but with boys, you got to be a little tougher because the how the world is set up. But and I think that has a lot to do with the problem, because you have a lot of females out there who have overinflated perceptions of what they are worth. Okay. I'm not talking about confidence. I'm not talking about uh, self-esteem or nothing like to that extent. What I'm talking about is in the dating world. Okay. If you love yourself, if you know what you are. Okay. There is not a YouTube video or a man's opinion that could go on there and make you feel bad. Okay. But see, what you're dealing with is you're dealing with a lot of females out here who need therapy. Okay. There's a lot of females that don't even wear their own hair. Okay. There's a lot of females who want to have surgery to get the latest uh, booty. The trend out there is to have a big ass booty. Okay. Well, I don't like my tits. I want to be a couple of sizes bigger. Okay. There's a lot of females who don't love themselves. And this is what the black man has to deal with, that Kevin Samuels has vocally expressed in his videos. Uh, Now, with him being gone, what really made me want to do this video is the fact that he can no longer defend himself. Okay. So, what I've decided to do is take it upon myself to play this video for you and deconstruct the biggest misconception. Okay, here it is. Now, pay attention. Pay attention to this.
You're watching The Isaiah Factor, uncensored.
A wise man once said, feminism is just a way for ugly chicks to level the playing field. I'm really trying to
I
be
don't feel like
patient.
I need to tell you my location, but go ahead. So
Well,
Okay. Already, as they're playing these clips, right? These clips don't show you the full context of the conversation. Okay. Just keep that in mind. All right. Um, what they're doing is they're taking out little slices here and there. And what you see is you see the most outrageous things that he might have to say, which really, if you put it in the context of the entire conversation, then it all makes sense. But when you take it and you slice it and you give a little tidbit, what it does is it paints a false narrative.
I'm going to tell you your location. It's off my show. They don't.
Okay, now I just saw that. I saw that particular show where the woman, he asked the woman, like he asked everybody who calls into the show, he asks everybody what your location is. All you got to do is give a city. He's not going to have you give your entire address, okay? Because obviously, why would anybody do that? He has millions and millions of subscribers and watchers. All right. So he just asked you for the city. Okay. Now, it's his show. He's the host, and he's allowed to ask a guest who calls into his show what city they're from. And this lady, instead of conforming to the rules and regulations, when you go on Jeopardy, okay, when you go on Wheel of Fortune or The Price is Right, and they have stipulations for you to follow, okay, you're either going to follow them or you're not going to be on the show. And this is what happened. But they just want to show you the part where he might come across as a jerk.
I'm really trying to
I
be
don't feel like
patient.
I need to tell you my location, but go ahead. So
Well, I'm going to tell you your location. It's off my show. They
Your location is off my effing show. Let's continue.
don't want mid-30-year-old baby mamas. I'm trying to be polite, man, but they don't want those.
Wow. Welcome back to the second half
Oh,
hour. The fact.
wow. You see that? You see what he did there? So this is all about grabbing your attention and painting a narrative. This is not journalism at all.
Factor Uncensored. Well, Kevin Samuels knew how to stir that pot. Just last week, he was a topic of a girl talk session here where he called single women over 35 leftover women. Leftover. Tonight, they're back.
Okay, so there you go again with the trigger left over. Okay, as I just explained earlier. Okay, name one other culture in this entire globe where women over 35 is in the dating scene. Women who are divorced with children are out there dating like 19 and 20-year-olds. Name one culture where this happens. You will not, I repeat, you will not see that in China. You will not see that in Japan. You will not see that in Afghanistan. Okay? But what they're doing here is they're taking little snippets of what he said, right? And using it as a shock factor, which is disingenuous. It's not honest at all.
The women from Girl Talk discussing Samuel's death and the troubling legacy he leaves behind.
So we got Dr. Angela Jones joining the ladies of Girl Talk here on the Factor Uncensored tonight. Glad to see you, Dr. Jones.
Let me just stop it right there. Now, as you can tell, these are all very gorgeous women. Okay. Gorgeous women until you hear them speak.
I'm
So
happy to be here.
this is the first person I've seen who has died or who has passed of notoriety where people are actually glad he's dead. Some people are glad and they're not shy about it. I've never seen anything like this. Dr. Jones, your thoughts on why people have so much animosity towards Kevin Samuels? Some
Kevin
people.
Samuels was a very controversial person, right? He made sure to stir the pot, and not only stir the pot, he stirred the pot to change people's minds in regards to how they see Black relationships, Black women, and our value. I mean, he would rate women.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. First of all, I agree that he stirred the pot. Okay, but however, he did not stir the pot to change how people feel. Okay, he stirred the pot by telling the truth to show people what actually is going on, not to change anybody's mind, but to show you what is going on. If you are a blind person and you're walking down the street, okay, and there are several obstructions in front of you, which you cannot see because you haven't gotten there yet, right? And I approach that blind person and I say, hey, don't go down this particular street because of there's construction going on and there's cranes operating everywhere and it's just dangerous for you. Go down and make a left right here, right? I'm not changing that blind person's mind from getting to their destination. I'm just changing their route in order to arrive there more safely. Okay? I'm just telling it like it is for someone who cannot see in front of them so they can avoid these obstructions.
Men by number, and he would diminish women's value in a lot of his podcasts, in a lot of his videos. Now there were some times where
Okay. Now, this whole thing about labeling a female by number, okay? Don't females do that on their own by themselves? Don't females rate and estimate themselves according to other females? Um, this has been going on for years, centuries, throughout history. We've weighted females. Okay, we've assessed certain characteristics, which are the determining factor. Don't females do that to males as a filter upon deciding who they want to choose or who they want to be with? Let's just stop with the foolery, okay? This is pure selfish, me. Oh, I don't want to hear that. Oh, I don't want to. Well, change the fucking channel.
he actually did say some positive things, and he did kind of create an environment for people to actually start talking about Black families, Black wealth. So I think that's the good part of Kevin Samuels, but he has really taken women and pared them down and, you know, and make them feel very little. So a lot of people
Okay. No, he's not. He's taken women and he's held a mirror to the women. Okay, by asking them questions. What would they like in a man? What type of man are they looking for? What type of income bracket are they looking for? Okay, and many of these women, right, who are single, who called his show, right, are all looking for the same type of man: tall, six figures, high value. Okay, so what he did was he turned around and he said, well, are these men looking for you? Does a man with six figures who can have any woman he wants really gonna marry you, who has two kids with two different baby daddies, who's over the age of 35, who can no longer, almost getting to the point where they can no longer have any more children? Okay, that's what he did. He held a mirror to these individual females. Okay, he didn't set out to say, okay, I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. No, he is an image consultant. He was doing his job. Okay, a Black man with an opinion. Okay, notice that you have individuals and characters out there like Simon Cowell, like Gordon Ramsay, white men who make a living on putting people down. But now it's all of a sudden a controversy because there's a Black man, a Black strong alpha male man with an opinion, with a professional opinion, with facts, data, and statistics.
unfortunately, you know, a lot of people are looking at this like we don't need another person out there that is going to create hate for women when we already have so much things that we have to work through on a daily basis.
No, Dr. Jones.
And the hate wasn't created by him. Okay, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of issues going on in the Black community, as I discussed. And really, he didn't create the hate. The hate was already there. Okay. All he did and I don't want to keep going over my words, but all he did was hold a mirror to what's going on in the black community and the black dating society. That's all he did.
Was it hate or brutal honesty? And I guess it's perspective in that case.
Right. It's perspective, but I don't think it was hate. I think it was very skewed thoughts, right? So he believed something and that was it.
So
He believed that.
she already went back on what she said previously when she said it was hate, and when he um re, re, re reshaped the question, then she suddenly said, okay, well, I don't think it's hate.
Black women were enough to rate them, to belittle them, to make them feel as though they're not good enough and that they had to work towards getting a man, as though the man was the prize and the women, we weren't the prize. And so unfortunately, a lot of men.
And see, it's another thing. Where does this prize, I'm the prize, come from? You know, when it comes to love, like so many people believe, I'm a believer in love too. But when you love somebody, right, you love them. There's no I'm the prize. Okay. The problem is there's so many females out there who are putting themselves on this fantasy like pedestal, right? Where you inject just a little bit of reality, right? It hurts their feelings. Okay. Um, what these particular females in the modern day culture look as being the prize is not what men look for. Point blank, period. Okay. Um, Me in particular, I consider humility and honesty and cooperation. I hold those things more so in value than I do a pretty face or a big ass.
And even women were on the bandwagon of Kevin Samuels, and they took what he said, and I feel like what he did was water the plant. If there was just a little bit of a garden, he grew the garden to something much bigger.
All right. And Jasmine, the last time we talked about Kevin Samuels on this show last week, where he said,
If you have made it to 35 years old and you're unmarried, you are a leftover woman.
you didn't mince any words. You said you didn't like him or anybody who liked him.
Right. Yes, I did, and I still stand by that. That's my opinion.
And guess what? You're entitled to your opinion. And there are a lot of men out there, lots of level-headed, good personality, great alpha, responsible, successful men out there who agree with Kevin Samuels. And by you deciding, making a personal decision and deciding that you are not going to like someone who identifies with Kevin Samuels' opinion, then you have, in a sense, taken yourself out of the game and you have limited yourself to probably somebody who is going to agree with everything you say, never tell you the truth, never tell you like it is, and tell you what you want to hear all up until you die, like a beta would.
But what's going on regarding his death, how people are kind of, everyone's entitled to their perspective, right? Like even that interview, I got feedback from others. And I feel that Kevin Samuels gave his perspective, right? I feel like his mission was to become a character, which he was, and he played the role. I do think that his mission was to get his message across and his perspective to the masses. He was able to accomplish that. So I feel like he lived within his purpose. But what I am seeing is a lot of like controversy regarding good. I'm glad he's dead. You know, no one cares and all of that. I feel like that's a little too far. I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to like you. That's still my perspective, but it's a level of respect that you give, right? For someone passing. I don't agree with Kevin Samuels. I mean, some things I do and some things I don't, but what's going on right now regarding his death, I feel like it's very tasteless with a lot of people. He did mention about Black women and, that he raped, those are the things that I did not like, but the way that.
Again, Kevin Samuels spoke to the Black community, the Black society, the problems within the Black society, within the Black community, the single parent mothers at rates higher than any other race. Okay. You can't just sit here and speak as if there are no issues or nothing going on. Why are there so many single parent mothers? Why are there so many homes where the kids are being raised without the fathers? We can't just pretend like nothing is going on.
People are just like, great, he's crucified. I just think that that's a bit much. So everyone's entitled to their perspective, but I feel like it's really tasteless what's going on right now, honestly. And it's something
Maggie,
that we should evaluate.
Maggie, your thoughts, did he do more harm than good for Black women out there? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, like you said, depending on what lens you're looking through, a lot of it was just all negative. And to me, with not just Black women.
Depending on what lens you were looking through, a lot of it was all negative. This female has issues. Let's just listen on.
But even just minority women as a whole, what we have to deal with on a daily basis, if you have a platform to uplift your queens and to talk positivity into your queens, yet you're, demoralizing them, you're talking bad about them,
I got to stop it right there because enough is enough. Enough is enough. As I said before, if you're a person with confidence and self-esteem and you got a good head on your shoulder, can't nothing you put on your television, okay, can demoralize your confidence or make you feel bad. If it does, simply turn the fucking channel. Okay? And second of all, Kevin Samuels, for the majority of all of his podcasts, spoke to single women. Okay? Since when? Now, I could be wrong, but you guys let me know in the comments. Since when has a single person been a queen? Since when? Okay? As far as I know, you cannot be a queen unless you have a king in your life. Let's continue.
Putting them in the negative space, I really and honestly cannot have a positive opinion about this individual. God bless his soul, but just because of the person that he was as a whole and the thing.
Really? You can't find one thing positive to say? One thing. A successful Black man with millions and millions of subscribers and Instagram followers and Facebook followers. You can't think of one positive thing to say? Not one? Really? A Black man, a strong alpha man giving his opinion?
That he talked about. I just think that you have so many opportunities to do something more positive, especially like I said, with the platform that you have, but yet you're using this platform to talk down on, and you're a Black man. You're a Black man talking down on Black women. Like,
he's a Black man speaking the truth. A Black man speaking the truth that nobody wants to hear, that's never been spoken. If he can't say it, who can? Okay? The problem is we have a bunch of females. We have a lot of females who have this estimation of themselves, right? Like the queen rhetoric, okay? Who live in a false world. Men telling them what they want to hear to get the booty, all right? We have a lot of people in the matrix who have not yet been unplugged, okay? People who have been lied to their entire lives. And when someone comes along and tells them the truth, guess what?
That I think that just in itself was just more hurtful, not just to me, but of course among everybody that he's spoken to or spoken about. And so, I mean, if fellas, if there's anything that you learn from this, God don't like ugly. So please do not take.
God don't like ugly. You damn right about that. Hey, you can say that again. God don't like ugly. And ugly has many, many, many connotations and manifestations other than the physical appearance.
Anything that he's ever preached or talked about and actually add value to it, because it's just not good. It's not good at all. It's just not good for our.
Maybe one day I will sit down when I have the time and I will make up a compilation of all the females who have called him and said, "Thank you, Mr. Samuels, because you have helped me expand my knowledge of how I was looking, my outlook at life, and how I was looking at men and not respecting them and trying to compete with them and trying to be masculine with them, and instead of you've helped me rediscover my femininity." So many couples who were married because of Kevin Samuels. Okay, maybe someone needs to put together a compilation of that, because you have this rhetoric out here. You have females who, whether one reason or another, just have to hate him, and there's not even any facts. It's all their feelings. It's how they feel.
The community that we're in, the age that we're in, I want to see somebody using their platform like this to uplift us and to talk good about Black men. If there's a way that we can use this and turn it around and make it more positive from what we've learned from what he's talked about, is to uplift our queens and just love on us. We are the prize.
All right, Karen, let's hear from you. Your thoughts on Kevin Samuels and so many people out there who are just glad he's dead.
Absolutely. I mean, a life lost is a serious matter. I think
Listen to what this woman has to say. Listen.
People are literally laying him down to rest officially on social media. Every meme, everything I've seen, they're going in on him. And it's a serious matter, but at the same time, people are kind of paying it back, paying him with the same respect that he paid other people. He devalued people. He diminished people's value based on their looks, and people are just having a ball with it on social. We live in a very meme-driven world, and people are just going to react in a way that makes them feel, kind of like they're paying it forward. It's a hate-filled campaign. Unfortunately, it's sad, but that's kind of the way that people are just processing it and dealing with it.
And Dr. Jones, there is an audience for what Kevin Samuels did on YouTube and on his podcast. And there are, not just to say mainly male listeners, but there's a group of male listeners out there who are kind of upset with the dating scene or the life that they have, and they bought into all of that. I remember a group of individuals who said they didn't date women in America, Black women in America anymore. They would go to the Dominican Republic.
Now, that is a real problem. It's a real concern. I mean, for black men in particular, uh, there are problems with black females. There just is. There's no going around that. There's no uh, telling them what they want to hear. Okay? There's no sugarcoating it. There are problems with the black female in today's society. Everybody has their problems. Black males too. White people, Arab people, Asian people. Everybody has their problems. Okay. Our problem is within the home. It's within the culture. It's within the dating society. As this gentleman just brought up, I know lots and lots of black males who are no longer looking for black females. They're going outside of the country, getting the mail order brides, looking at other races. Okay? Because the culture is different. That's just the way it is.
But they were avid listeners of Kevin Samuels.
Yeah. So the thing, and I'm gonna play the devil's advocate with this a little bit, right? Kevin Samuels, if he was super nice and supportive of us, nobody would have listened to him. Honestly, he was controversial. He knew how to get an audience and he knew how to get people to listen. I can't tell you how many Kevin Samuels videos and interviews and stuff I've watched just because he's so it's compelling. So in order for him to actually draw in his audience, he had to be compelling. He had to go all the way to the other side to make sure that you listen to him. But the thing is that sprinkled in this.
Yeah. Okay. And I get what she's saying, that he had to be, there's that word again, controversial, right? In order to draw people in, like the Pied Piper. I get it. And yeah, there is a form of entertainment to his shows, which you cannot deny, right? However, uh, there's nothing that he said that wasn't true. Nothing.
Negativity that he had, there was some tokens that he would put out there, and hopefully people were able to take those tokens and utilize it in a positive way. It's just it was overarching too much negative and not enough positive. But I know that if you're going to be in that kind of industry, I mean, he blew up. His podcast, his videos blew up because how controversial he is. He knew how to get all of us to feel the way we.
No, it wasn't just the controversy, though. I mean, he had substance to what he was saying. You know, you can't uh, have sustained success as he did over a few for several years without there being any substance to what you're talking about. If you're just all, flair and dramatic and controversial, with nothing else underneath it, then you're not going to have the success that he did. And it wasn't just because of the entertainment aspect.
Feel all of those people on Instagram to feel something about him. He was able to capture our hearts and make us question a lot of things, even if we didn't agree with it.
Should individuals, and any one of you can jump in and answer this, should individuals be taking it personally, though, now? Many people, it appears, they're taking it personally by saying, I'm glad he's dead.
No, it's not that.
And maybe it's because some of the points that he spoke on kind of, maybe like Angie said, playing devil's advocate, kind of hit a nerve or kind of struck some truth into some
Yeah, and there is no, as I stated earlier, there is no justification to be glad. I don't care what you say. There is no justification for being glad that a person is dead simply because of their opinion.
Some people's, lives into why they couldn't date successfully or were having trouble in their relationships or whatever have you. Maybe it's because, again, it was just, maybe there was some truth to it.
I think that even for me, when I watch it, there were times that he would say something, I'd be like, that's he got a point there. It's just his delivery was trash, right? But overall, so I feel just
His delivery was trash. His delivery was trash. Marlon Wayans just came out and said, you know what? That medicine that I had to take when I was sick, it helped me get better, but it was the nastiest medicine I ever tasted. See, and that's the problem. That's one of the problems. When you're dealing with a bunch of queens, you can't you got to sugarcoat it. You got to put rhinestones all over it and make it look beautiful and package it right. The truth, that is.
like Jasmine said, the way people are coming at him after this man has passed away, honestly, I think it's very ugly. But I also feel like, people have a lot of more courage and a lot more strength behind
the screen.
Ugly things, right? It's just not a nice thing to do. But he maybe wasn't nice to you, but you can.
And that man, the man that I spoke about earlier, who came out with the video, that I'm glad Kevin Samuels is dead, and I'm going to keep on insulting him even after he's gone. That man, right? He made a video with his voice on it, like I'm doing right now. But I have several videos with where you can clearly see me who I am, and you know my name, right? This man has not put his name out or his voice on this video, and I find that to be very, very convenient, very, very convenient, and cowardice.
Still be gracious to someone in their passing. I mean, he passed away. I mean, he was a figure in our community, whether negative or positive. I cannot tell you, and I'm sure everybody here has had conversations outside of this about Kevin Samuels, and that was the point. He made us talk about the Black family, whichever way he had to do it.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you for joining us. And I see Jasmine just had enough and she hung up on us. She's probably having connection problems. But thank you all for joining us here on Girl Talk. And thank you, having you, Dr. Angela Jones, a special.
All right. Well, I just wanted to share that video, and I will be doing more. Look for more content. But rest in peace, Mr. Kevin Samuels, and your work will live on. Your outlook, your insight, um, your positive truth will live on.